Deciphering the Poisonous from the Misunderstood, a guide to accurate perception. Hey friends, buckle up, because we are not tiptoeing around the tulips today. Nope, we're diving headfirst into a tangled mess of brambles and nettles. You might get a scratch or two, but that's how you learn. We're talking about poisonous people, and importantly, how to tell the difference between those and people who've just had a bad day or been hit by the ugly end of the rumor mill. Consider this. Have you ever encountered someone who seems to drain the life out of you? Someone who, after spending time with them, leaves you feeling exhausted or low, or someone who manages to turn even the most joyful occasions into an arena of conflict? We've all met these people, but before we label someone as poisonous, let's pause. Let's ask ourselves, are we judging based on a single event, or someone else's perception? Are we interpreting their behavior through a clouded lens? Misunderstandings can happen, and we're allowed our bad days. Sure, some folks have a surplus of bad days. They feed on chaos, create drama out of thin air. But before you start tossing around labels like toxic and poisonous, let's be sure we're not just looking at a rough patch or taking someone else's grudge as gospel. How then do we tell the difference? Psychologists have long studied human behavior, attempting to unravel the complexities of personality disorders and toxic traits. Babiak and Hare, 2006. We look for consistent patterns, not isolated incidents. A poisonous person often displays persistent negative behaviors, manipulative actions, an inflated sense of entitlement, a disregard for others' feelings, and a lack of responsibility for their own actions. It's like a running theme in the story of their lives. Stout, 2005. Don't get me wrong, we all mess up. We've all played the jerk in someone's story. But here's the difference. Are you living in the land of jerkdom 24/7? Or did you just take a wrong turn and end up there by accident? With this understanding, let's move away from the snap judgments and be a little more considered in our evaluation. Let's look beyond the singular actions and fleeting impressions and instead focus on the patterns that tell us more about a person's true character. To help with this, Dr. Robert Hare developed a psychopathy checklist that can give some insight into identifying truly poisonous individuals. But remember, this checklist is not meant to be used to diagnose anyone, but rather to be used as a tool to better understand some potentially poisonous traits. Hare, 2003. Dr. Hare's Psychopathy Checklist, revised, or PCL-R, includes traits such as superficial charm, pathological lying, manipulative behavior, lack of remorse, emotional shallowness, lack of empathy, failure to accept responsibility, and a tendency to engage in risky behavior. Hare, 2003. Sound like anyone you know? But remember, we are not psychologists, and we don't diagnose people based on a checklist. It's merely a guide, a tool to shed light on the behavioral patterns that might suggest a poisonous personality. So, next time you're about to brand someone as poisonous or toxic, take a step back. Ask yourself if you're seeing a pattern or a one-time glitch. Could your perspective be colored by gossip or prejudice? Remember, we're all human. We all have our poison. The key is to recognize when it's the exception and when it's the rule. Let's flip this narrative. Instead of focusing on what to avoid, let's think about what we should seek in our relationships. Kindness, understanding, honesty, respect. Sounds simple, right? But the simplest truths are often the most profound. To truly navigate the realms of human behavior, we must understand that each individual is a complex blend of experiences, emotions, traumas, joys, and sorrows. Sometimes, a person's toxic behavior could be a cry for help, a manifestation of their internal battles. Sigmund, 2017. That's not to say you should be the one to fix them. No, that's a job for the professionals. But maybe, just maybe, they need a little understanding, a little compassion. And if that's too much to give, distance might be the best solution. Remember, preserving your own mental and emotional well-being is crucial. If a relationship drains more energy than it gives, it may not be a healthy one, irrespective of whether the person is poisonous or just going through a rough patch. Lancer, 2017. In the end, it's all about balance. Weigh your interactions, observe patterns, seek consistency. The world isn't divided into saints and sinners, and a lot can be said about walking a mile in someone else's shoes.